Welcome to day 5.
I'm so encouraged by what God's doing. Thanks for joining us in this season.
Faith sees the invisible, faith hears the inaudible, faith does the impossible. The question is, how does faith go about doing this?
Well, I'm glad you asked. In 1 Kings chapter 17, we find the nation of Israel no longer walking in the blessing of God. The people had followed their king Ahab into a godless way of living, filled with sin and idolatry. In the midst of their rebellion, God sends a prophet named Elijah to King Ahab. In 1 Kings 17:1 we read, "Now Elijah, who was from Tishbe in Gilead, told King Ahab, 'As surely as the Lord, the God of Israel, lives, the God I serve, there will be no dew or rain during the next few years until I give the word.'"
For 3.5 years, it didn't rain a drop. Finally, Elijah presents himself to King Ahab and challenges him and his false prophets to a showdown in order to prove that there is one true God. The story is crazy.
Yeah, God ultimately demonstrates his power by sending fire from heaven. And guess what happens?
The suspense is so intense. What happened?
No, there was national repentance. And Elijah tells King Ahab that the miracle of no rain is about to become the miracle of rain. After more than 3 years of extreme drought, it had to seem totally impossible that rain could begin falling at a moment's notice. So, what did Elijah do? What path did his father take him? Well, in 1 Kings 18:42, we read, "So Ahab went to eat and drink, but Elijah climbed to the top of Mount Carmel and bowed low to the ground and prayed with his face between his knees."
It seems clear that Elijah knew the will of God, but also recognized the necessity of praying God's will into existence. He did that by fasting.
That's right. Notice that he sends Ahab to eat and drink, but he climbs Mount Carmel to pray. Verse 45 says, "And in a little while the heavens grew black with clouds and wind, and there was a great rain."
This story reminds us that simply knowing God's will is not always enough. God's desire is that we would pray his will into existence in our lives.
Whether you are believing for God to do the impossible in your life, your marriage, your family, or even your job, prayer and fasting is often the God-ordained pathway that faith travels to put our miracle in motion. Be encouraged. We are standing with you, believing for a miracle.
Thanks for being committed to this season of prayer and fasting. Please take time to share this video and comment down below with a prayer request or testimonies of what God is doing.
Also, make it a priority to be in the Word today. We've got scriptures to accompany the Devo today in the bio or at citychurch.life. Make today great, and we'll see you tomorrow.